You should see what goes on behind the scenes here. This is such a high-tech operation. Welcome to Mirror TV. I'm Neil Rudel. Week number 4 of high school football, and Gary Bernick has gotten us on the air. Mike Boydum, our typical high school reporter, usual, is on vacation.
Can we say what?
And this is such a debut. I know I'm not even needed. I'm probably just going to leave now and turn it over to Scott Franco. We usually go about 8-10 minutes. We're going to try to. That'll be Scotty's challenge.
That'll be hard. My
Scotty,
opening monologue will be 8 to 10
Nice
minutes
to see you. What would you like to start with?
I said, well, we did our cheat sheets here. I thought we could open up with Chambersburg, Altoona.
Yeah.
Chambersburg 3-0. But a little birdie did tell me this morning that they're a cheap 3-0. That their 3 wins aren't really
being down in Chambersburg.
Well, that their 3 wins aren't over mid-Penn level type teams. That there were schools Chambersburg's bigger than,
like Alderdice.
And wow. But here's another thing too. A little fact I know just because of junior high, Chambersburg had to drop their 9th grade football team this year because they didn't have enough kids. Just because I know Hollidaysburg was looking to fill a spot in their 9th grade, and they were looking for the teams that were going to play Chambersburg. And I can't believe, we can go back. Chambersburg's a 6A school.
Yeah.
And if they don't have enough kids for a 9th grade, what does that say about the other? But they are 3-0.
Already, you're a faucet of information.
But always, this is the week Altoona finds out how legitimate their 2-1 is. Because if they can beat a 3-0 team, confidence level-wise, that would look great for them.
These are 2 old rivals. Altoona is a mid-Penn opener. 2-1 for Nick Felis, and they've been impressive. They've been improving. Blew out Williamsport, which I think was somewhat of a surprise. And then, to come back to be 2-1 is some building blocks for Altoona.
And I understand just from reading, sneak again, I was reading John Hartsock's preview before getting the paper about the Lawhead kid is basically been their leader, and he had the great game last week. I knew they threw the ball a lot against Hollidaysburg in that first game, but if they can keep, feeding the ball to this Lawhead kid, and they're going to have the home crowd behind him.
Yeah.
And then, plus the fact is they're 2-1. They have confidence now. If something does go wrong early, they don't have to sit there and think, oh, no, not the same thing again. They're 2-1 now, so hopefully confidence breeds success.
This is their 4th home game in a row. Pretty unusual. They also stuck the sophomore quarterback, Marcus Day, outstanding prospect athlete.
Yeah, I know him
in the game. And, as far as a runner, and I think they think that he'll be able to grow into a legitimate thrower, too.
Yeah, I've seen him on the baseball diamond. He's an exceptional baseball player. I know last year heard about him from his exploits on the junior high, but, he's somebody gives you an extra weapon.
Yeah. So Altoona, good luck to Altoona in week number 4 here against Chambersburg. Let's move on to Penn, Cambria, where you have
inside information.
Ties.
Inside information.
It's not from your brother. He doesn't return calls.
I joked around, the last 2 years when he was coaching at St. Joe's and when he was 0-10 last year, it was real easy for the Mirror sports staff to get a hold of him.
Yeah.
In fact, almost to the fact where he was calling us.
He's
saying
that
if we needed anything. Now it's back to his phone message is literally on his cell phone.
He has a cell phone?
He has a cell phone, but it says on his cell phone, the message box is full and cannot be, because he doesn't know how to.
It's perfect.
But he does know how to turn a winning team or a losing team into a winning team.
Trained him on how to use that at this point.
But you know what? There it again, we talked about confidence. Those kids are 3-0.
Yeah.
And, last year, he sits there and he and his staff would preach for a week. This is what you do. Then they got and lose 50-0. So how do you get kids? And then the same week, preach for a week, lose 40-0. Now he preaches some success. So boom, they're going, wow, this stuff works. And they're 3-0.
And I'm happy for John. We've all followed John Franco's odyssey. Nobody closer than you, Scotty. But to be going up in Penn, Cambria, start the year off against Cambria Heights and upset Cambria Heights, and be able to build on that. It looks like he has a young team.
Yeah, and he's got more kids coming out. I still think he would like to get even more to come out. I know he tells me because he's a retired teacher. But he's up there, I guess, subbing, and he's working the halls, always trying to recruit. But I know, again, reading John Hartsock's preview, he sat there and says, he goes, don't ask me now how we are. Ask me at week 8 or week 9. But, this Bedford team coming in, Bedford beat Westmont Hilltop, and there's nobody hotter right now than Westmont. So Kevin Steele's teams are always well coached. They had the kid we just had as the athlete, or the athlete, was it Dylan Arnold, I believe? Yeah. Had a very versatile, can catch the ball in the backfield, runs.
I just think the fact that you beat Westmont. Westmont pounded BG. Now BG is in a rebuilding mode,
but they're still better than most other teams.
Right.
But Bedford, and it's going to be nice because my brother did tell me about now the crowds. I mean, he hears all this noise outside his locker room, and he thought one day it was the band. It was kids outside chanting, waiting for them to run up onto the field, and they formed a shoot for them, which they didn't do that last year when they were 0-10.
Yeah. Okay. That's the second big game. And what else do you
we said that our segue. My green highlighter here.
Mike Boyd will be proud of you.
Westmont Hilltop, again, and this team impresses the heck out. I mean, now Chestnut Ridge is really good. Yeah. I mean, they're 3-0. They have this big kid on the line named Dalton Cease is really good. But Westmont Hilltop runs that Delaware wing. It looks like the Army-Navy offense. Yeah. But if you looked at the
game, goes fast.
Yeah, they ran 46 plays on offense, and all 46 were runs.
Yeah,
and they still had 2 guys rush over. So that's how good are you when you run the same thing over and over, and nobody can stop it? They threw the ball one time last week in their win, and it was intercepted. So maybe that's why. But I mean, and somebody told me, my brother told me, they run like 4 or 5 plays. That's it. But they run them so well, you can't stop them, and they're just such a good running team. That's what Chestnut Ridge. If they can stop that, you're going to force a team that does not pass to have to pass.
Mm-hmm. So they got to get the lead. I like the fact that Ridge is in the Laurel Highlands because they're really playing against a lot of what I call our teams in the mirror coverage area, and it gives us a real good barometer to kind of gauge. Obviously, Max Shoemaker, they have a veteran coach, have had a lot of success. Chestnut Ridge is a good athletic program.
Yeah, and he doesn't have to go to Berkeley Springs, West Virginia. He doesn't have to go to Maryland anymore. And I'll tell you what, winning the first game at Forest Hills, because I don't think any of us picked, I just figured it's Forest Hills on the road. They're not going to win that. And Chestnut Ridge they're not afraid. Max is not afraid.
They went up to Forest Hills.
And I remember
you guys all picked Forest Hills because they feed the media at halftime.
They do really well. Great barbecue, I'm told, down there. I know it. But remember last year, it was 2 years ago, they went up to Central and beat a good Central team like 40-2 at Central. And I'm like thinking, nobody thought Chestnut Ridge was going to do it. But not only are they a wrestling factory, that they've become now a football factory. Penn Cambria scrimmaged them.
Well, they had some really good baseball players, too.
Yeah. They scrimmaged Penn Cambria. My brother told me.
The basketball, the Dillo kid.
He's a Chestnut Ridge, are you the Beano cook of Chestnut Ridge?
Hey, now you're really putting me in good company.
But Chestnut Ridge, but they're really good defensively. My brother said they scrimmaged them. They scored 2 touchdowns. Penn Cambria scored 1. But he just thought defensively they were really, really tough.
A couple other games, quick hitters, real quick. We got Bellwood, Everett.
Bellwood 2-1, bounced back with pretty much two easy wins since the lost Tyrone. Everett's 2-1. This would be a great barometer for Everett because how good are they? Are they just beating the teams they should beat? And their coach, Winston Redmond, which this guy tells it like it is. Mm-hmm. He pulls the Band-Aid off when he talks about his team. And if he can go into Bellwood and at least be competitive. Like I covered the Bellwood-Glendale game. Glendale, it was 7-6 at the end of the first quarter. And even midway through the second, it was 14-6, and Glendale moved the ball. And then I think Bellwood remembered their Bellwood.
Yeah.
And then they just
How about Tyrone? Who's
Tyrone they play Phillipsburg 0-3.
Okay.
So Tyrone's just got to hope that they don't, have a let up and maybe looking at something past, the next game. But I just don't see that being a game at all.
Last game we talk about here is 2 3-0 teams, a little more regional for us, mid-Penn teams. State College, which comes in. State College played Hollidaysburg last week, and Hollidaysburg competed as best they could. It was good to see the kid that they took off on an ambulance, Robert Smith. I understand.
Ended up with just a collarbone injury because back then we thought it was something scarier, and nobody wanted to speculate because you don't want to do that.
So you got Carlisle and State College.
Carlisle both 3-0, and State College is like a factory. And they have 85 kids on their team. They literally have special teams kids that's what they do. They just play like that. I don't know about Carlisle. They have the kid going to Penn State, Keaton Ellis. He's a wide receiver at DB. State College does. And I know last week Homer DeLaughter at Hollidaysburg said he made an interception that only one kid in the state of Pennsylvania could make, and it was the Keaton Ellis. So, I want to see the team that beats State College this year because I think that looks like a team that might not lose till they get to the postseason.
Well, Scott, what a debut for you.
Am I back next week?
Well,
Am I taking
you'll
over?
be able to not
too
replace
busy.
Mike. You
I'm
will
too busy.
replace me.
Yeah, but then Mike won't talk at all because then I'll talk the whole time.
Well, yeah, we'll get him to talk.
Yeah.
Anyway, for Scott Franco and Gary Berenick and Mike Boydham, who I know is going to watch this, I'm Neil Rudel saying thank you for watching Mirror TV, and we'll see you next week.